Welcome back to Castle Motors, where we are losing some money again. Negative 324 million last month. And that fixed itself. I'm not sure what we paid a bunch of money for last month, but it seems to be over immediately. And going through 2005, we're making lots and lots of money. That's all I want to move the clock forward for. I just need to confirm we're not actually in a crisis here. So, going down our lineup, we're coming into the last decade of the game in this episode. After 2010, there will be not much more time to do anything. Last episode, we made the Kalemegdan II and the Ataman, which are selling great. Now, 2 generations old are the Ayrudzi and the Nakharar, which are selling great. And our oldest cars, which might be replacing, are the Garderobe, the Sipahi, and the Basilic. The new updated Basilic is also, again, selling great, so I don't think it needs any changes. But the Garderobe and the Sipahi are starting to slow down in sales. Now, the Garderobe's always been a little weird, so I don't know if we can replace it effectively or not. But I certainly have some bodies I could look into for trying it. On the other hand, the Sipahi is on its Mark IV generation. If we scroll back here, oh yeah, the first one started engineering in 1982. It's now more than 20 years old. I think it's definitely time to replace the Sipahi. And if you don't remember, that's our small off-road SUV. And I'm feeling not so creative. So let's figure out what's going to be the Sipahi II. Honestly, I should have started reusing names a while ago. Honda's had the Honda Civic for like 100 years, citation needed. But they've kept calling it the Civic even though it's a completely new car every time, right? So why can't I do the same thing? I just need a nice looking SUV. Let's filter down to just SUVs. No sedans, get out of here. Now this is starting to be a thing after the 2010s. And unfortunately, these crossovers we've seen in real life getting more and more popular. That's not what I want from an SUV. I'm thinking more like this. In fact, this looks perfect. Maybe I'll go for the 2.4 meter wheelbase, the second smallest version. To get a little trade-off between having room in the vehicle and, having a shorter wheelbase is still good for off-road use. Or, want the version that sits slightly taller, apparently? Maybe? It's hard to tell. These mod buys don't know what you're getting necessarily. What other candidates do we have? We have this bubbly looking guy. That could be an option. And as we get down, we go to the Porsche Cayennes and Nissan Jukes. We don't need to mess with that lame stuff. That's what Castle Motors is about. We make real off-road cars. And we're still making ladder frames in the 2000s. Which, I guess that's neat. Yeah, I think I'll try this body. See how it shakes up for us. Mod bodies are always a little iffy, so hopefully we don't get anything weird going on. Simplest setup ever. Solid axles all around. Springs or leafs in the back. No, coils everywhere, actually. That's what we want for off-road. It's all coil springs, no leaf springs. This is the most travel. And we'll base it on still the mill engines. Pretty sure that's what the Sipahi has been using. Honestly, I'm going a little fancy with having 6 cylinders in every car. But I guess that's just, again, Castle Motors. We like to go one bigger. No 4 cylinders for us. Not much to improve, I think, on that engine. Well, we'll get around to it. It could need some quality points here and there. We can afford, I think, at this rate, since it's a mature engine. And as you can see, there's an option for a delivery van, which I don't know if there's much demand for that, but we will be making the SUV and the pickup truck version. 4x4, or maybe all-wheel drive. We'll see what works out better. Automatic transmission. Starting to unlock lots of speeds for automatics, which I don't know if we actually need. Manual lockers. You've seen this car before, basically. It's just going to be the same thing on a new body. I don't know if I need to give you all the details. You might not be surprised. Oh, we want big tires. The biggest. Yeah, that looks good. 16-inch wheels is probably plenty large. And I'm contemplating still putting the thing on drum brakes the whole time. I think we switched to disc brakes for the Sipahi in the last generation, so we'll see if that keeps up. Power steering. We're most familiar with hydraulics, so I might stick with that for now. But electric is so cheap, I'm not sure what off-road prefers. So just off the bat, off-road suspension presets, we have absolute maximum ride height and some very soft springs. And not enough dampers, because they definitely like more dampers. That's the pattern I've found usually works. And they also like a lot less sway bars. Especially if those sway bars are making our car lead towards oversteering, which we don't want. So right off the bat, I've hardly finished tuning the car, but we can see it'd be a great fit for the off-road market. Nothing crazy going on here. Keeping 4 seats. Could upgrade to a premium interior. Yeah, that'll do. It's not going to appeal to utility sport, because as we learned in the last episode, I believe, what utility sport likes is, basically road suspension. The Ataman, that's the car that likes complete road suspension. It's a farce, it's not a real SUV, I will argue. But, people buy Escalades, so what can I do? Yes, we finally do prefer all-wheel drive to 4x4. That's the direction most of our new tech is moving in. Keep the manual lockers. And for once, they actually don't want absolute maximum spacing. Competitiveness is now at 201.5, so we're estimated to be twice as good as whatever's on the market now. What else can I improve here? No interest in more gears. Still love taller tires, partly because it moves the graph down where I need it to be. I think the width I have on the tires is good. Brakes. Oh. 50% utility brake fade, huh? That's not, that's bad. It's a bad thing. I think drum brakes might not be the way to go on this one. In fact, yeah, discs all around, apparently. Why do we have such high brake fade? That's crazy. Want some brake ventilation, maybe? Yeah? Brake fade's at 20% for utility. I think that's based on how much it can haul. And because I have such, crazy ride height going on in this body, let me guess, do I have a load capacity of something insane? Yeah, 2.5 tons this thing can apparently carry. Even though it's got 113 horsepower? So that's the brake fade that I get when I'm carrying 2.5 tons of stuff in the back. That's the problem. So there, disc brakes all around. A little fancy for an off-road vehicle. It's not supposed to be too expensive. But what can you do? And yeah, that'll do for a first version. Let's get a proper paint on here, though. That green color looks about right. Man, that sucker is tall. Now, variants. So that's that. We have a premium interior and the 3-liter engine. Maybe they want the 3.5. In fact, they do prefer the 3.5. So that's what I'm going with for this one. And I think the 3-liter engine version can be the El Cheapo version. So there should be a few factors. We have the engine, we have cheaper interior, cheaper entertainment, just make that more affordable. Still 4 full seats, and I'm not seeing, I have, keeping the disc brakes all around, not seeing a ton of places to save a lot of money. Save like a couple $100 we go into drum brakes, but I think that's worth engineering 2 kind of brake systems for the same car. That always ends up costing you a lot. So this is the premium. That's the standard. And what the heck? Wonder if we can fit a bigger engine in here. If there's any market for that. We can get the Gran in here. Crazy wheel spin. That is an issue. And yeah, I think nobody's interested in that thing. It's a little utility sport market, but it's kind of stupid. So no Grand engine, no muscle car engine is going in this. Not that we're going to sell anyway. And since we have the premium and standard versions, I'm just going to make them maybe both available as pickups. We're doing an off-road utility. Just brilliant, 200. Don't need to change much on that. Whoops, don't need 2 copies. And what about the standard version? Because that was actually the premium. And doing even better. So 4 variants. We have a standard and premium in SUV and pickup form for the Sipahi II. That went nice and fast, didn't it? And we're just going to take over the Sipahi's existing factory. I'm not going to make it any bigger, because I am not sure if it's going to be a massive hit or not. Come back to those sliders in a minute. Engineering. We're on track already to get this thing done in just a little over 5 years. So here at Castle Motors, we like to throw money at problems until they go away. And that gets us doing it in under 5 years, so we can boost our reliability, take a little pressure off. That should be good enough. Now the factory. What's the optimal automation? Looks like 65 is great. Good recall percentage. In fact, I can do less QA threshold. Yeah, going from 86%, we're looking at $780 for a standard car. Way down. We've saved $60 a car, but we're also making more cars. And our recall chance is 0.1%, which I can live with. We'll just cut that QA right out of here. Our workers are experts, they don't need supervision. We're going to trust that every car coming off the assembly line is, not awful. And this brings us back to, of course, we need to update the other cars that use the mill engine. Since we've got 5 years to improve it, we're going to get the reliability slider up to 90 on this mill engine. I think these things must be legendary for not breaking. It's part of the Castle Motors reputation, which, by the way, wow, 41 reputation. I've never seen a procedure reputation that high before since 4.0, or it's like not even in 3.7. I'd say we're doing pretty good. And what margins? 50%? Start it there. And I always put in 100% pre-order deposits. You know this if you've been watching my videos. Because otherwise, you're just going to sell 1 million cars no matter what. And then what's the point of putting the effort into designing them in the first place, right? And we're looking good. Yes, I was considering the possibility of making a 4.0 meter wheelbase massive SUV. We'll come back to that. Now, what other cars use the mill engine? I'm thinking the Kalemegdan must, right? It's about time for an update. They're working on the 2005 version. It might look on the timeline like, you know, a version of the car is only in service for a couple years, but of course the entire time, usually 5 years, that we're trying to engineer an update to our existing cars, we're selling the old version. So they got plenty of time on the market, really. What's new with the Kalemegdan II? I've got to make sure that I update the engine. Otherwise, it'll just go out of production when the engines get replaced. I already tuned that for the Sipahi II. And we're looking at not the most impressive numbers, if I'm being honest here, for competitiveness. So the cheapo version, I think that's kind of intended for us to target passenger fleet effectively. And it doesn't really do that. We have 6 whole seats. It's relatively comfortable. Apparently, the main competition in passenger fleet has vastly better gas mileage and is half the size, or half the weight, of this thing. And I guess I can see how that might make some sense. These are big vans we're selling. Got stability control, got safety, all good things. Can I improve the gas mileage much? At the detriment of our score in family utility, I can get like a whole nother mile per gallon just by making the gears a lot longer than our top gears in overdrive. And we need some fuel system quality. I had the 3.5 already at +1 fuel system quality, so there's really no downside to not improving that. That's a little better. We gained like 10 points in passenger fleet and family. We lost like 3 points in family utility, so I think that's pretty worthwhile. Cooling flaps, do we like those? Those are kind of a cursed feature as far as I can tell. They're pretty cool actually in concept. You get the benefits of your high cooling airflow slider, but at high speed the cooling flaps close up and you don't get the gas mileage downsides of your high cooling airflow slider. And they cost $200, they weigh 4 kilograms, they take 1 man hour to install, and nobody wants to pay for them. If these scores are to be believed, they'll just go down slightly. It's like, you know, $200 gets you another half mile per gallon, but they don't care. They're not interested. Not interested in paying for under tray cladding either. Another feature that improves fuel economy. All-wheel drive system is 50-50 biased, and we are not all the way on perfect drivability balancing for our handling here. And there's a little benefit to be gained from front biasing our power distribution, but at some point we start to lose score instead. We're losing utility and off-road ability, that's what it is, and at absolutely no benefit after a certain point. I guess that's when the front wheels start slipping before the back ones do. I would think they'd want narrower tires, but they don't want that either. That saves you, money on tires, gives you better gas mileage, but I guess the car doesn't corner well enough on narrow tires. That's the best I can do. The premium version can keep its gearing the way it is, I think. We'll get the power distribution in there. But we're not going to lengthen out the gears so much because That makes it less premium. The premium version gets less gas mileage than the cheapo version. And the delivery. I could make this car completely stupid and still sell. Oh, I gotta remember, gotta update the engine. It goes for the premium variant too. I'm still using the 1999. Factories, you've seen it before. Just clicking on through here. And only 10 months engineering because I changed very little. Ooh, we still have -5 driver assist quality. I can go back and make that better. Gotta do this for all 3 trims. Fuck, don't clone it. Delete. Edit. Yes, in the last episode we made some cheap, crappy ESC. And now we're making good ESC. Oh, and the tooling and process sliders were low. We wouldn't want these to be mass-produced cheap cars, and minivans. So, the opportunity to get these sliders up there is good for us. And at that, I can get a little more automation in. And there, our labor costs per vehicle have gone under $800. Huge factories can be pretty great once you get them going. Now, what margins am I currently selling the Kalemegdans at? I don't even remember. It's like 40, 60, 50? Okay. 40 for the cheapo. 60 for the premium, because it's supposed to be premium. And 50% for delivery, because they're very cheap, but they're going to buy it anyway. Ayrudzi, our mainline vehicle, obviously going to need a facelift, because it uses those engines. Now change all the names to 2005 and buzz through and make the same changes to 4 whole trims. Ooh boy, I am so excited. Every trim, click, and make sure I set engine to the 2005. It's not 3.0, 3.5. Any negative quality to take out here? Yes. That'll do. Let me tell you, I really wish that when I updated an engine with a new facelift for the engine family, or new generation, then it would automatically change. Or if I also made a new facelift afterwards for a model, which is what I've done here, that would select the newest facelift of the same engine. That's what I want. It would save me some headache right now. And that's it, the beautiful Ayrudzi, with scoring best in off-road utility and heavy utility. Is it worth switching to the 3.0 liter, saving some gas on this? Both target markets go down, so there's a good reason to add on 3.5s for everything. Okay. Big version of the mill engine in the Ayrudzi. It's a big car. Factories. Large only, huh? I may have to come back in a moment and figure out if any of these cars need a new, huge factory to support them, because I sure have the money for it now. Alright, Sipahi. Cancel that for now. And cancel the Gran update for now. Sipahi, Kalemegdan, Ayrudzi, all on the mill engine. Am I missing anything that uses the mill engine right now? Ataman, I think, is Gran engine based. It's our big ass one. Nakharar is a supercar. Garderobe uses its own tiny crap engine. And the Sipahi is getting replaced. Excellent. We're ready to sign off on that. Well, maybe. So Sipahi, Kalemegdan, Ayrudzi. How are they all selling? Kalemegdan is not deep in pre-orders. Ayrudzi is not deep in pre-orders. Yeah. I'll leave the factory sizes where they are. So there. 5 years for the new Sipahi and its engine-sharing brothers. And, what else can I do? Could be updating our existing cars. The Basilic Nakharar, our sporty type cars, are selling great. The Ataman looks like it needs a bigger factory, actually. I should get on that. So that'll force me to update the other cars to update that. And the Garderobe needs either a replacement or an update. Let's start with the driving force for updating our Gran engine cars. The Ataman. Not necessarily need to do the 4.0 meter truck, because this is really filling the same role. Now the Gran engine, our ill-fated design, because of me being dumb, it kind of wastes some power, since it just can't rev high enough. At least not with regular forged internals, apparently. Only we have, lightweight forged unlocked. So we can start revving this a little higher. Up to 5,900 before we either have to accept some engine stress. That gains us a little horsepower, certainly widens our power band. And Utility Sport has weird scores about it. They don't seem to care much for the added RPM. Or they don't until I get into the point where the engine's getting stressed out anyway. And that causes reliability penalties, which I don't love. But, maybe we'll just have to accept it. Some of your engines may explode, but that is a risk I am willing to take. I certainly don't want to pay for added quality. They much prefer the engine stress. Let's see, VVT, cams, compression, another 2 points. Keep running on regular gas? Yeah, we will. Want more gears? Nah, they're pretty convinced that 6 is plenty. Do seem to want top speed. Not really sure what the reasoning is there. It kind of peaks at a certain point and then goes back down quickly thereafter. And that point is right after, I think, you see the material cost goes up, the tire speed rating changes, which I like to try to avoid, but, oh well. 148 miles an hour. I think that's fast enough for an SUV to go. With our, what we even choose for suspension design. Double wishbones, probably actually handles fine on a highway. It's nice and low to the ground too. Still hard tires. So it can go off-road. Brakes are still good. What if I get even more braking force? Now, that doesn't really deal with my... I want to see if I could get a better setup with more braking force, less pads. Doesn't seem to be working out. Aerodynamics, got that off-road skid tray on here. Lots of brake airflow. Cooling flaps? Yeah, cooling flaps? No, nobody? Nobody wants cooling flaps. Like I said, they're a cursed feature. And negative quality is going away on ESC. This is going to be the era of good ESC on Castle Motors cars, rather than just the era of some kind of ESC on Castle Motors cars. And the luxury version of the Ataman uses our other type of engine for a Gran. Yeah, the one that does use CNC parts. And it's mainly for the Nakharar, and it's in the Ataman bonus. I want to tune it around what the Nakharar wants. But yeah, that gets this rocket up to 164 miles an hour. In under 6 seconds. That's a scary SUV to be driving, I think. And what's even scarier is the fuel economy. At 7 miles per gallon. What a wonderful car this is. I mean, it certainly looks the part. Negative quality comes off. Ah yes, and the real reason I wanted to mess with this was because it's time for this to get a bigger factory. And is a medium 3 going to be enough? I'm hoping it will be. We can get more automation too. Oh, the QA threshold. Completely different going on looking at this, right? So you saw I had some cars where they've been in production for a while, and I can just yank this slider all the way down, and the recall percent chance is still fine. Here it's 1.8%. That's every month. And I need to keep it high, unfortunately. I need to pay my workers more. And part of the problem is that my engineering sliders were low, because I need to get it out in a hurry. So there, I'm aiming for 36 months to see if I can get the other cars on the same schedule. What have I been selling these for? Current margins on the Ataman are 70 and 90%. So that's what I'll set the new one to as well. 70%, 90%. You know, I have to say, after the dealer markup, you're still getting an SUV with a luxury interior and like 600 horsepower for $40,000. That's quite the deal right there, I must say. And since I'm updating the Gran, I must update the Nakharar, which needs certainly few changes because it's selling just great. Market scores for the Nakharar have gone weird. Fun Premium is supposed to be for hot hatchbacks. Not necessarily like 600 horsepower Corvette looking things. That's kind of weird. Oh. No, it's not a... Yeah, I got no good reason for that. Light Sport Premium. Got 2+2 in here. We've been making it marketed to like Grand Tours, but apparently it's just fallen behind in that area. Well, that's weird, but I guess as long as it's selling, right? Or, you know, hopefully it keeps on selling. We'll have to see. Upgrade to Active Sport, Active Everything, suspension parts. Yeah, not much else going on. Maybe a medium 2 factory upgrade. And they're pretty much built by hand. 15 automation. Engineering falls right on 36 months. Already. Yeah, I can't really add tooling slider to this because of the way it is. So there. That's that. Hopefully it continues to sell well. The market scores I'm seeing are weird, but it's been selling, so whatever, right? And the old classic, Basilic. I think very little needs to change for our utility premium muscly car. Still scoring utility premium, so good enough for me. Apparently no longer scoring in muscle, because the body is old and ugly. Well, you should see muscle car buyers today. They all wish they could buy a 60s car. And because it is not sporty. Make those a little stiffer. Go to air springs. Fancy. I think that'll help the sportiness. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's not helping the gas mileage, but again, it's a muscle car, so, you know, who cares? And we're sticking with the classic slush box automatic, because that's just how we do things at Castle Motors. Seems to be a weird compromise between muscle and utility that doesn't seem to score well in any markets. But, you know, we'll keep selling it, and if the numbers keep coming in, then we're doing good. And again, you can have a small factory upgrade, because that seems to be the trend. And 36 months, perfect. What have we been selling these things at? 60%, cool. It's telling me that Nakharar won't sell at 100% margin. We've been selling it at 100% margin, so that's where it stays. Apparently it stopped scoring in Fun Premium more than GT. It's a nationality thing. I don't know. Still scoring in Super and Hyper, so yeah, that explains why we're selling this car. I don't know why the market screen just goes screwy sometimes. Getting some weird guesses about the price. And the engine factories will be overworked, so the Gran factory must grow larger. Cool. So what's Nakharar taking 38 months? What do we change? Back in you go, funding. Alright, 36 months for those. That's lastly the question. Replace the garderobe or not? If it's finally starting to come into its own, we've been messing with it with the first version being made in 88. Yeah, I'll give it a little bit, see if it starts to sell a little better. And I think the factory utilization is rising on the garderobe. Oh, no, went down. I'm at 5x speed on the timer per month here, but it's most limited by how fast my computer can process all these turns. And yeah, when you get this many cars, it starts to chug. See, I can't even scroll that smoothly. Profits are through the roof, bringing in $500 million a month now, paying $2 billion in taxes. Our former financial troubles are truly behind us, I think. I could start just burning money and probably not run out before 2020. Uh-oh. Something's wrong. The Ataman pre-orders are going crazy. In fact, let me... Ooh, we have a quality issue. Just do a recall, whatever. So the Ataman here, right? I can no longer see what I set this to. I'm assuming I remembered to make this 100% pre-orders, and it really is just selling that well. It should be the first time that I've definitely seen a 35 months of pre-orders backed up on a car that actually has a 100% pre-order margin. Although it is at least still like a luxury car and stuff. So maybe that's working as intended. It's hard to tell. Either that, or there's always a possibility that, in fact, I just forgot to set that. I'm going to go back and review my old video later. Massive spike of, what, $6 billion as we pay off our pre-orders from the Ataman as the new version comes into production. Another $2 billion. I love how, like, paying back those pre-orders just causes our finances graph to zoom out, so every other change is a flat line. Nothing else matters to our company other than those pre-orders. It's the single most economically important thing to us. New Ataman is still flying off the shelves. Still crazy pre-ordered. I guess it really is a good price for the car. What can I price you to? Let's make it 100% margin and 130% margin. I guess I should have gone for an even bigger factory, because one step was not enough. And at 130% margin and full 100% pre-order deposit, it's still stacking up. So that's our first runaway pre-order car since I enacted my new policy. I wonder just how expensive I can make it. And all the while, it's telling me it's not very desirable. It's not very desirable to premium budget and family premium, which are not the markets I built it for, certainly. And possibly not the markets it's selling to. I think there's still some debate among the community about what this actually means, that these are the top 3 listed demographics, that's based on sales or some other calculated number that, like, it thinks is desirable to those. What else did I update? The Nakharar update, it's still selling great, yeah. And Basilic's still selling great. In fact, they both need bigger factories. I should have gone harder. I'm not going back, but if I knew, I would just put them all in, like, large factories. How's that garderobe doing? It's getting older and older. And yeah, sales have slumped off. Oh, no, they're back up. It's continuing to sell mediocre. I have to look at my market soon and see if I've quite done what I hoped in terms of getting into the market in Arcana. Ooh, game's slowing down. So much going on. Revenues are falling as our factories are under construction. More quality issues, gosh. And yes, I underestimated everything. Everything is selling in the red for the moment. Hey, look at the economy over here. It looks like we even had a 2008 crash, go figure.
So it looks like now every model we have is selling well. Most of them are starting to have a few months of pre-orders. The Ataman has, again, crazy pre-orders, so I probably need to bring up the price on that. Basically everything is doing okay, except for the garderobe. That's still trash. But, yeah, the garderobe needs to be replaced. But every other car we have, I think I don't need to make major changes. I'm thinking about moving into new markets maybe next episode with a new car. But the existing cars need to probably all get larger factories, or a huge factory, or multiple huge factories than what they have already. And next episode is also the time if we want to get into any new markets or try something weird, because it is the last episode where we're going to make any new cars, probably. Since, it'll take 5 years to design, and after that you only have 4 years left, so you can't do much more.
So next up is going to be the last episode of Designing Anything. And maybe we'll have a little finale bonus at the end as well. But that's where we are. There's not much gaps in our sales here. Just we need to make more of the cars we're making. Worldwide, selling lots of delivery, good portion of utility. Finally hitting, like, only 10% of that utility sport. With our, I guess, Atamans mainly. We're getting a decent portion of passenger fleet sales, despite that the Kalemegdan set didn't appeal very well. Someone's buying them. Nothing surprising looking at the Western markets. That's our usual stuff. In Daluha, what have we started selling? Heavy utility, off-road utility, luxury premium, 5 sales. That's a whole 10% of their market. Or yeah, that's not even going to awareness. So Daluha, right, is it's the wealthy market, but it's also a very small market. There's gotta be about less than 50, if that's 11% of the market share, luxury premium buyers. If you're building luxury premium cars, like that's a hard market to be in. And 5% of the GT sales. Say we're a presence in Daluha, we exist. Arcana, as well, we got one of their less than 2 on average track premium sales. And otherwise, the garderobe has just not broken us in. Do we have market awareness? We got market awareness now, so market awareness is not the reason we're not selling on Arcana. We are advertising enough. People know about our brand, they're just choosing not to buy it, almost universally. Dealerships in Arcana are still trash, and I think that's kind of a consequence of people not buying our cars, maybe more than the cause at this point. So our Arcana market here attempt was a complete failure. Company bubble. Off-road budget 1.0. All others 0. Killerob, I don't even know what this means. I know you tried to explain company bubble to me, but I don't get it. that's where we are. As for new cars, gotta make something interesting next episode, right? It's gonna be like the last one. We could replace or update the Nakharar with a maximum horsepower version. Go ahead and use the turbos. I should have mod bodies installed to unlock after 2011, but for whatever reason they're not showing up here. I guess that's fine, that's not a big deal. So in that case, we've basically seen everything. We've got the modded large SUVs, where we want to try that. Maybe I need to make a replacement for the garderobe and see if we can actually sell a ship box this time. And that's where we leave off. So let me know in the comments what you want to see in the next episode, because that's our last opportunity. We're going to wrap up Castle Motors, perhaps, and maybe wait until version 4.2 of the game comes out, which I'm real excited for, to try another campaign with another theme.